Hello everyone, it's me, Severed. Just another straw in the ever-growing stack of hay that is called YouTube. Coming back with a new part of what if Deku was Hawkmoth, and well, let's just get right into it. Nothing here to speak about, so let's go ahead. Right now where we last left off, Midoriya managed to get his fingers into the Heroes Network by making the Hero Public Safety Commission and Ladybug believe that he lost. And now he not only has a step ahead of every single person in Japan, but he has every single possible information that can be provided by the Hero Network about every single hero, from the top number 1 to the lowest of numbers, including their real names, their home addresses, and everything in between, patrol routes, numbers, and, well, anything really. So, Midoriya is gonna put those informations to good use, but for the meantime, he did check on them in the middle of the night, and specifically Endeavor since, well, he tries to check on the top 10 heroes first because he believes if he finds something on the top 10 heroes, something that can be considered as dirt, something very strong that can make their image in the heroes or in the public eye rotten, that will gonna give him a very, very good, well, push to his ideas in the minds of the people, believing that heroes aren't what they are truly acting to be. Because, I mean, if Midoriya proves that some, I don't know, low 217 number, the number 217 hero is like, I don't know, doing some things with some of his fans that are illegal, yeah, that will be bad, but the heroes, the top 10, that will be something significant. He already knows the secret of All Might that he's well going ahead to exploit. But for the meantime, he started looking at them and, well, he noticed Endeavor. And, the other person being Hawk. Well, somebody who's named Hawks, surprisingly being the number 3, which Midoriya finds it quite ironic that that's his name. But regardless of that, he figured out his real name, and the fact that Hawks was a son of a guy who killed a person over a very small amount of money. He figured out Hawks' backstory and that his mother lives somewhere. He also figured out All Might's real name, Toshinori Yagi. Not only that, he started looking into deeper files and he found a video of All Might fighting somebody. A video of All Might's greatest battle, the time that he got injured. His battle against the one and only All For One. As Midoriya watching that, he never seen this video before, and it's obvious that it hasn't been published to the public. But he wonders what does he do in All Might files. But then he realized it. This is the battle that injured All Might, and this All For One. Could he possibly be the one that hurt All Might? And if so, he doesn't know how, but that voice of All For One that is recorded in the video, in the battle, taunting All Might, telling him how weakling he is and how much his master have died for nothing and a stupid death, sound familiar. But regardless of that, he's gonna check that later. But for now, he's looking at Endeavor's files. His family files, to be precise. One of his sons in UA, and specifically in Class 1A, which is very surprised it's one of Endeavor's children's is in the same class as Bakugo. But more importantly, his wife is in a mental hospital. He wonders why is that. Why would the wife of the number 2 hero be in a mental hospital? So he decided to check it out. After Midoriya basically put all the things that he needs in his pockets, taking his phone, taking some chocolate for, of course, Nuru that was sitting on his head while Midoriya checking the files and eating. He puts Nuru in his pocket and was about to leave the home, but Inko stops him saying, "Izuku, where are you going?" As Midoriya said, just going out." As Inko said, "Can you hold on a minute? You've been going out lately a lot." As Midoriya said, "Yeah, I don't want to stay in my room the entire day." And she said, "I understand, it's just that, you've been acting weird. There's something you're not telling me, honey? As Midoriya said, I'm alright, Mom. Everything is alright. I just, last day, or, yesterday, I just was very, angry. Baku showed up, and she said, but what you said to Baku wasn't nice at all. It wasn't like you. As Midoriya growing a bit angry, saying, well, perhaps it's just I'm tired of acting like I'm his friend. As Inko said, I understand, Izuku, but you should apologize, at least for Mitsuki, for what you did. As Midoriya immediately saying, apologize? Apologize for what? For the many times he tortured me, for the never-ending bullying? Apologize for me telling him to shut up and stop annoying me? Is that what I'm supposed to apologize for? I'm not apologizing for him, neither to Mitsuki. As Inko said, see, that's what I mean. You've been acting so odd recently. You're not you. As Midoriya said, well, maybe I'm tired of the old me. Ever thought of that? Of course not, because all what you care about is your damn friend. You never cared about my emotions. As Inko said, what is this coming from? Of course I care for you, honey. It's just, as Midoriya said, well, if you ever cared for me, you would have ignored your friend and just took me out of that stupid school with Katsuki. Or perhaps even asked her to make Katsuki stop bullying me? Something like that? Acting like a real mother? As Inko said, Izuku, I'm sorry, as Midoriya said, well, don't bother telling me anything, because all what you care about is your damn friend, and I had to put up with it. So how about you leave me alone to do my own thing for once? As he just runs out of the door, leaving Inko there, after telling her that he doesn't need her help. As, well, Midoriya left. And while he left, his mother just left there crying a bit, quite sad. But what her son just told her just hurts her already very fragile heart. And while Midoriya is standing outside of the door after closing it, he starts feeling her emotions. They are quite negative. And for a second there, for just a split second, he thought about akumatizing her, but then in that same second, he immediately slapped himself, saying, what are you thinking about? Akumatizing your own mother? Stop thinking like this, Midoriya. As, well, he still senses her emotions. He senses how sad he made her feel. How absolutely hurt she feels right now. He wonders if he should go and check on her, but just doesn't. He just goes and continues with what he's doing. She'll grow over it eventually. She always does. Anyway, Midoriya made his way into his hideout. After he enters, he was a bit, just trying to ignore the thought, and just told Nuru to transform, saying, Dark Wings rise. And when he did that, he whistles and, well, Houndoom appears. And Midoriya starts thinking, saying, before anything, I need somebody. I was thinking about making a villain that could make me other villains. It could be useful. Someone who can amplify the emotions of others. It will be a very nice addition to my arsenal. As Midoriya starts listening to the voices, as he found the voice of an abandoned dog. One that is left inside a box on the side of the street. One that has been thrown away by his owner because he just didn't want him. As Midoriya said, well, isn't that the voice of a scared little dog? Scared for his life, missing his owner that just abandoned him. It reminds me a bit of you, Houndoom. As Midoriya creates an Akuma and shoots it into the dog. And when it's arrived, Midoriya starts talking to the small dog, saying, Wendigo, I am Hawkmoth. You're afraid and alone, but you don't have to be. I'm here for you. I'm gonna give you the power to manifest that fear into others, to make them feel the same sickness and and fear that you're feeling right now. You won't gonna have to feel this feeling anymore, because I will be here to take care of you. Of course, all what I want to in return is for you to come by my side and help me. How does that sound? As the dog barks, and here comes, of course, the ever beautiful Wendigo, a dog with a spiky collar and an even crazier looking face made of bones. Immediately, Midoriya told Houndoom to teleport him into the hideout, and Houndoom, seeing Wendigo, while Midoriya walks closer to him and starts petting him on his head, saying, "Good boy. Welcome to the team, Wendigo. You'll be a very useful addition to my arsenal." As Houndoom starts growling a bit, seeing how, well, Wendigo's getting attention of Midoriya, before Midoriya stands up and steps back while both of them just start growling at each other, and Midoriya said, "Oh, come on now, boys. Both of you, stop it. I don't want fighting. Save that fire for the heroes, will you?" As, well, Midoriya de-transforms and gives some chocolate to Nuru, as Nuru starts eating while Midoriya just kinda sits on the ground, playing with some of his dogs, maybe even giving them some chocolate. While Nuru is eating, Midoriya told him to eat well. He'll gonna need to recharge so he can akumatize somebody else. And, well, Midoriya kinda just stayed there in the building for almost the entire day, waiting until the night falls for a good time. Hinko is worried about Midoriya. She even tried to call him because it's right now getting, well, nighttime and he's still not home, but Midoriya is ignoring her calls. As, well, Midoriya stands up when the sun finally set down, as he said, "Alright, I think this little rest is over. Let's go." As Midoriya stands up, he immediately transforms once again after Nuru finally recharged, and now he starts listening to the hospital where, well, Rei Todoroki is right now at. And when Midoriya located it, he said, "Alright, Houndoom, take Wendigo and go there." As that's what they did exactly. Houndoom and Wendigo Houndoom teleported Wendigo into Rei's, the hospital that Rei right now in. And right now, at the hospital, Rei Todoroki is being taken care of by the doctor. That's right now is telling her that she's doing fine and everything, and some of the nurse gives her some food and, well, even brought some of her favorite flowers too. As after the doctor gives her her regular medicine, he left, telling her to take a good night of sleep. While the woman is just, well, looking out of the window into the night sky and grabbing the flower that she just got, her favorite blue kind of flower. And then suddenly she hears the growling of a beast, the growling of a monster, not a dog. And when she looks into the door, she sees Wendigo standing there. As when she sees that, she's getting scared and she grabs closer to her flower before Wendigo just starts breathing black mist out of his mouth, black mist that fills the entire room. And when Rei starts breathing that mist, she starts seeing her worst nightmare, reliving the worst moments of her entire life. The time that she burned the face of her youngest child, the time that she got married to Endeavor, the time that her firstborn died. All these times and all these dark memories running through her head again. She starts losing it, and in the hideout, Midoriya is looking outside of the window saying, "Am I going to akumatize the sick woman and use her fear and sadness as a weapon of mine?" As he thinks a second for it. And if Endeavor is as worse as what she's imagining, then so be it. If Endeavor is this corrupt, he doesn't deserve to be a hero, does he? And how ironic will it be if she's the one to take care of him? And beside, it's not like she's gonna get hurt. When he akumatizes her, she'll be far much more stronger than her sick self. So Midoriya held all these thoughts behind and said, this sick lust for a hug of her own children. A mother that misses her child oh ever so dearly, that's sick of her own husband that tortured her entire life. Who will I be if I don't answer to such sad and miserable screams of help? I'll give you a voice to speak out loudly. As Midoriya grabs a butterfly, and there it goes in Akuma, telling it to akumatize that woman and makes her as powerful as she could so she can have her children's back into her arms once more. And well, the flower flies into the room with Ray and it immediately akumatizes the butterfly akumatizes the flower that's right now in Ray's hand, as immediately Midoriya said, "Gilora, I am Hawkmoth. Your husband Endeavor have took you away and send you far away from your children's, for you never to see them and never to even give them an embrace. No mother should go through something like this, and for that I'll give you the power to take back your kids from the fiery grips of Endeavor. As long as you take revenge on him too, which as I know you want to. So what do you say, Gilora?" As Ray Todoroki said, "I will not let Endeavor separate me from my children any longer." As she transforms, and outside of her room, a nurse was going to check on her. After all, she heard some noises from her room, and she wonders if she's safe, and well, before she enters, she sees some ice growing from under the door. And then the whole door is getting colder and start seeing a lot of snow growing around of it. But then when the nurse tried to open the door, she started hearing a beautiful lullaby. A very peaceful lullaby. And suddenly the nurse goes to sleep before the door opened, revealing the image of Gilora with a fan on her hand, eyes closed gracefully, a dress as white as snow with the flower in her hair as blue as the sky. As she starts walking down the hall, singing her beautiful lullaby, leaving a trail of ice with each step she takes, until she makes her way outside of the door. And she looks outside into the sky, still standing there in front of the hospital that is right now everybody inside of us is asleep. She looks into the sky and said, "It's quite hot tonight, isn't it?" As she blows a kiss into the sky and the sky starts snowing all around Japan. It's not winter yet and it's snowing. And those are no normal snowflakes that is falling from the clouds. Just like how heat travels from the hot object into the least hot object. When these snowflakes hit somebody, not only do they get their stamina absorbed until they grow tired and fall asleep, but they also get transformed into, well, a soldier to serve her. And right now, immediately, she uses her fan, and with one swing, a giant ice carriage that's being pulled by ice horses appear in front of her, with a knight that forms from complete ice standing by her side, holds his hand for her to put her hand in his, as he leads her into her carriage and opens the door for her, as she enters it gracefully like an ice queen or an empress. As the guy sits in front on the carriage and start driving it with the ice horses, as well, inside the carriage, Gilora is just keeping singing her beautiful lullaby, singing and singing and singing, and with everyone that is unconscious around of her, once her eyes touches them, and once they hear their lullaby while asleep, they turn into a knight to serve their new empress, their icy cold empress, Gilora. And she's right now told the guy that is driving her to go straight back home, to her home. And right now she continues singing this beautiful lullaby that can be heard from all across the city. As, well, in the hideout, Midoriya is just waiting, listening to her beautiful lullaby. Of course, her powers doesn't affect him. He makes sure to make that something every time he creates a villain, that their power do not affect him. And right now, while he's just standing there, suddenly Galora stopped her lullaby and said, "Hmm, thank you." As Midoriya said, "Hmm," as Galora repeats saying, "Thank you for giving me a chance to see my children's again." As Midoriya said, you're welcome." As Galora said, "You can't imagine how much this means to me. Being able to see my kids once more. Something that I dreamed of for so long, but never got to do, because they weren't allowed to visit me, and Endeavor never allowed me to visit them. To make me happy to know that you're willing to help an old woman like me." As some tears forms in her eyes, and as they drip, they turn into ice the moment that they leave her eyelids. And Midoriya, well, hearing her talk, he said, "You really love your children's, huh?" As she said, "Of course I do. What mother does not live the very thing that she gave birth to?" As Midoriya think about it, and Galora continues saying, "Do you have a mother of your own, Hawkmoth?" As, well, Midoriya wonders if he should tell her that, but, well, it's not like she's gonna remember anything of this when he deakumatizes her, so why not? And also, he does want to hear the story of the Endeavor family to make sure that his suspicions are in their place. So that's what he did. Midoriya let her talk after telling her that he does have a mother, and she said, "That's nice. I'm sure she's a proud mother." And Midoriya said, "How are you so sure?" As Galora continues saying, "Because you're a nice child. You helped this old woman to once again have her children's in her arm. And you sound so nice. She must be a lucky woman to have such a beautiful and such a nice child such as you. I'm almost jealous." As Midoriya said in his mind, "Damn it." As, well, she continues saying, "A mother's always gonna love her child regardless of who he is or what he is. It's just in our nature. And I'm sure she loves you. But sometimes you have to make her feel like you love her back. For me, it makes me feel sad that Shoto never visited me. I wonder if he still loves me after what I did to him. I want to apologize for him for what I did to his pretty little face. But I wonder if he'll ever gonna forgive me. But believe me, when a mother hears her child say that he loves her, all the weight of the world just feels as if it's just been dropped off of our shoulders. We can't help it. It just makes us feel so whole. So I say it again, thank you for giving me the chance to see my kids again. Fuyumi, Natsuo, Shoto, I'm coming, sweeties. And I'm gonna take revenge for you, Toya. For what Endeavor made you do and what he made you go through." As Midoriya said, "Can you tell me the story? I want to help you, and I want to make sure that Endeavor pays, so it would be really useful if you tell me." As she said, "Of course I'll tell you." As she starts saying the story of the Todorokis, how Endeavor once married her, how he wanted a child to surpass All Might, how Toya was perfect, but at the same time he wasn't, how once again he forced her to have another child and another. At first she did want Toya to have siblings, but eventually just came out of control. And, well, eventually it led up to the death of Toya, almost trying to kill his youngest, well, brother that was still so small. And, well, it led to his death. And then after which the abuse of Endeavor just kept going, and he kept pushing her aside while torturing her youngest child to make him become a hero while she tried to stop him, but she never could. And everything, and Midori just hearing this, he just grabs harder and tighter into his staff while trying to keep his composure while saying, how tragic. Endeavor should really pay for all of this. I'll make sure that your voice is heard, Galora," as she said, "Thank you for this help." And finally, she did it. She arrives in front of her house with an army of ice soldiers behind of her. And right now, when she gets closer, immediately she leaves her carriage and comes out. While still a lot of ice soldiers in front of her, they bust down the door, and immediately Endeavor comes out since he was, off of his duties for the day. He sees some ice soldiers in front of his doorsteps, so he immediately, melt them. As immediately after that, Fuyumi, Natsuo, and Shoto come out of their room, each one seeing their father fighting some ice soldiers, one after the other, while Todoroki's wondering what is happening while they are being attacked, while Fuyu and Natsuo are, feeling this, snowflakes falling on their bodies and immediately growing tired. Todoroki's seeing the snowflake about to fall on him, so, he doesn't really use his fire side, he just kinda warms himself with the heat from his fire side. Not use it, but just use it to warm himself. The exact same way that he uses it to normally melt his ice. As well, of course, Endeavor keeps fighting. Suddenly, he hears a voice saying, "Enough!" As Todoroki, and just doesn't know what that voice is, but sounds so very familiar, and all of the soldiers stand to the side as they open a way for the horse carriage, and one of the soldiers opens this door, while another one holds his hand for the Ice Queen and their, Empress to walk down all gracefully, like the beautiful Empress she is as she walks down the stairs of the carriage with her fan to her face, hiding her face behind it. Immediately, Endeavor wonders whose that is, but the woman said, "How rude, you don't even remember me. But I don't think I expected anything from you, dear." As he said, "What?" And then she closes the fan, and here it's her face. It's her. As, Endeavor, seeing this, he said, "Ray?" And Shoto behind of him, trying to check on his sister and brother if they are okay, but suddenly he heard Endeavor say Ray. He immediately looked to see that's his mother. As he said, "Mother?" As she said, "Here you are, finally, living your days in my house as if I wasn't a part of this family at all. You never changed, did you, Enji?" As immediately Todoroki's like, "Mother?" As he's shocked, and she said, "My dear Shoto, please come to me." As she just opens her arms widely, saying, "I've waited for so long to hug you." As he starts getting closer, actually, before Endeavor grabs his hand and holds him back, saying, "Wait, Shoto!" As he said, "Let go of me. As she said, "Don't you dare touch my son!" As she swings her fan before an ice wave just throws Endeavor away, causing him to slam into the house and, break some of the walls, while Shoto's like, "Father!" As he's not really worried about Endeavor, more like surprised about what happened as he looked back into his mother before seeing her get so close, and she immediately grabs his head before holding it straight into her chest as she sits on the ground, dragging her son down with her, and she starts just rubbing his hair gently, saying, "My dear Shoto, my beautiful Shoto, here you are in my arms once again. Can't believe this. I'm so happy. I'll never let you go again, dear. Never again." As, Shoto, you wanna get out of this hug, but it's just so warm, so loving, so beautiful. And while Endeavors try to stand up, suddenly they hear the sound of somebody else immediately screaming on the top of her tongue with a tiger claw. And in that moment, immediately Galora, using her fan, creates an ice wall to block the attack upcoming in front of her that she sensed. And well, when the ice wall breaks, they see that Ladybug was about to throw, well, a tiger punch into the, well, Ray to defeat her. And they also see her wearing a winter jacket to keep her warm, because the solution for the icicles taking people energy is to keep them warm. And that's what she figured. As right now she's looking into Ray. That's, a moment ago she was holding into Todoroki, but immediately she, using her yo-yo, grabbed Shoto out of her hands and said, "You're right." As he said, "That's my mother." As she said, "Your mother is akumatized. Stay back and protect your, brother and sister. I'll handle her." As immediately Ray saying, "What are you doing? Give me back my Shoto." As she using her fan to blast Ladybug away, but she uses her yo-yo to, create, using her Lucky Charm, creating a giant stone wall in front of her to protect herself from the ice wave. As immediately Endeavor stand up again and he throws a fire wave into, Ray's soldiers and surrounds her in a fire wave, saying, "Ray, what's going on with you?" As she said, You have no right to ask me that question. You are what happened to me." As she immediately blasts him away with another ice wave, but this time Endeavor managed to dodge it, or at least melt the ice away. Well, Ladybug tried to attack, Galora again. However, she is immediately surrounded by all of the other giant soldiers of ice that's Ray have collected while she was coming home. So Ladybug is left to fight them, including Shoto, because she ordered the Ice Knights to capture Shoto and retrieve her children. And they continue their fight while she's fighting against Endeavor. While in reality is more of a one-sided beatdown. Endeavor fire is strong, but Ray's ice is far too cold for him. She just attacking him rapidly, another ice wave after ice wave, swinging her fan left and right, while yelling at him with everything that he did in her life, buying her from her parents, using her as nothing more than a little, thing that he owns, an object, not a real person. And even when she wanted children, just forcing her to have one after another. The only thing that came good from him was her children's, Shoto, Fuyu, Natsuo, Toya, but he killed her older one and tortured her younger while ignoring the other two, and took them away and left her to rot in some, hospital. She just hates him, and she wants him dead, and Endeavor is simply in shock. He doesn't know how to handle the situation at all. Before finally, Todoroki is telling, Ladybug telling Todoroki to use his fire, but he still refuses before Ladybug finally convinces him, telling him that it's your power. It's time for you to use it. Don't you want to save your mother? Do you want her to be controlled by a villain? Then use your fire and save her. Hold those guys off while I try to save your mother, will you? As Todoroki just hates the thought of having to use his flames, but at the same time, that's his mother. If he just doesn't know what to do, but immediately he decided he has to do it this once to save her. It's not because he needs it, he just do it. He stops thinking about it and just tries to do it. While on the other side, Endeavor is beaten up with some icicles in his body. His flames are turned off, which makes it hard for Ray to see him. And then suddenly, from the left side, she was about to get attacked, but she makes an ice wall in front of her to protect herself. And she looks into Ladybug, seeing her heat body. As Ladybug looking into Ray, saying, "See, you're another akumatized villain by Hawkmoth. Are you getting desperate that you start akumatizing sick ladies, Hawkmoth? As she said, do not talk ill of him. All what he does is help me. He doesn't want anything in return. All what he wants is just to help. As she said, that's what he told you. But he's lying to you. All what he wants is something, but I don't know what it is. But he definitely wants something in return. As she said, well, then you don't know him well. Shouldn't you understand my feeling, Ladybug? You, of all people, should understand the feeling of being separated of your children for so long. You're a mother like me, so why do you defend him? As she looks into Endeavor and she said, I heard what he did to you. You were yelling. It wasn't hard not to hear it, but at the same time, that doesn't mean you can just kill him. Is that what you want for your children, to see their mother kill their husband? Or their father? As she said, you do not understand. As she said, perhaps not. I was blessed with a good husband of my own that is now gone. But I cannot allow you to continue this. As immediately Ladybug just spins her yo-yo well, Galora said, doesn't matter. I'll beat you anyway. Well, if that's so, if you're gonna stand in the way between me and my children's, then so be it. As she immediately throws an ice wave into Ladybug. While Ladybug fighting her, she figures out her weakness. She does not see, at least not in the normal way. Because she was so fixated on destroying Endeavor, she only sees in thermal vision. So, by hiding her heat temperature, she manages to, well, stay out of her eyesight. However, when she tried to take the jump over Galora while still being blind, because she cannot even see Ladybug's thermal vision, suddenly in Galora's head she heard the sound of Hawkmoth saying, behind of you, as she immediately using her fan to push Ladybug away, which Ladybug wonders, how did she do that? But then she sees the thing around her face, and she realized it. She may be blind, but Hawkmoth is not. As Hawkmoth said, don't worry, Galora, I'm still here for you. And I'm gonna be your eyes if that's what you need right now. As well, while Midoriya and Galora are looking at Ladybug, suddenly from behind, Endeavor blasts his wife with flames. As immediately Ladybug seeing this, it was the perfect distraction. She immediately, using her yo-yo, launches ahead into, well, Galora, grabbing the thing on her head and destroying it, the flower, as it reveals the Akuma. And then she deakumatized it. And that's it. Galora is back to being normal Ray, although she's unconscious. And Ladybug, well, she deakumatizes the Akuma, fixes everything is back to normal. The sky is not snowing and everything. Endeavor looking into his unconscious wife, checking her, before Todoroki and, well, of course, the other two. Well, Todoroki is the only one that's still conscious since he was defending his brothers and sister. And he immediately rushes to see his mother. Before even Endeavor managed to touch her, he just states, don't touch her! You're the reason for this! She wouldn't be akumatized if it wasn't for you ruining her! You see? That's what you do, Endeavor! As he just yells at his father while Endeavor takes a step back, looking down. He's unsure of himself at this moment. For the longest time, he was so sure of his goals and motives, but now, he's not so sure. And while Ladybug just seeing this, she told Shoto to calm down. It's alright. And she makes a little pendant, a little charm. He gives her to Shoto and tells him to give it to his mother when she wakes up. And that she'll get a call on some ambulance. And while that's happening, Endeavor is also talking and stuff like that, but right now with Midoriya in the hideout, he just de-transforms. Nura tried to talk to him, but Midoriya is just silent. He immediately goes through the shadow of Houndoom and teleports back into his house. As he's standing in front of the door, he was about to knock on it, but he looks into his phone and sees the many messages that his mother sent and everything. And, well, he opens the door, and after knocking, his mother opens the door and she said, "Izuku, where were you? I was so worried. Why didn't you answer any of my calls? What happened? Where were—" As Midoriya just hugs her. And she's shocked by that, and she said, "Izuku, are you... honey, are you okay?" As Midoriya hugs her even tighter, saying, "Yeah, I'm okay. I just want a hug, okay? I love you." As Inko, hearing that, just suddenly feels as if all the weight of the world just been dropped off of her shoulders. She feels complete. As well, she embraces her son again, saying, I love you too, honey. I'm sorry for everything that you had to go through. I promise you don't have to go through it again if you don't want to." As Midoriya said, "It's okay. I just love you. Can I stay like this for a little while?" As Inko hugs him, saying, "Of course. We can stay like this for as long as you want." As Midoriya said, "Thanks." And they kept hugging for a bit longer. And here's where I'm gonna leave it off, guys. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment down below. Tell me what you think about this part. And what do you think is gonna happen in the next part? Well, I have nothing more to say than Severed was here.